games like Splatoon,
Gotcha!
Super Mario Maker,
Wanna play?
you made this?
Yep.
And Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. There's only one thing you'll be dreaming about this holiday. Play Nintendo. Play Wii U. Games rated E to E10+.
Okay, people, so it's the last Wii U collection video, the last 5 titles, 21 through 25, and then we're done, and we're all going on to the Sega Genesis. So I hope you're really excited about that one as much as I am. Now, here are the last 5 titles, and they're kind of those, I don't want to say indie, but titles that are more or less looked over. They're not that mainstream Nintendo that we all look for. As opposed to the last video where it was kind of just 5 random ones kind of thrown together. These are ones I feel that people may have bought for other systems, or just looked past. One in particular, for North America, you can only buy on the Virtual Console, while it came out physically everywhere else. So that is the exception to the rule. I hope you enjoy the last Wii U collection video. Oh boy, here's one of my favorite Wii U titles. And it's actually an indie title called Shovel Knight. Now, when I originally got this game on the 3DS, and as soon as I heard it was coming to main consoles, I immediately wanted the Wii U version. Mostly because this game feels like an old-school retro Nintendo game. The music is outstanding, the platformer is so good and refined. It's like a mixture between Mega Man and mechanics from DuckTales, if you've ever played those. Mega Man with the side-scrolling, up-scrolling level designs, and then with DuckTales with how you can use the shovel to bounce on objects and enemies. It's done really, really well, and I can't stress the music enough. It's incredibly engaging. And also with the Wii U version, when you get the Shovel Knight amiibo, it unlocks a 2-player co-op mode. Now, I believe that's come out in other versions of the game, but for the sake of this, the Wii U version I like more than anything else. And the creators have done a solid for the fans where every DLC that's come out is free. There's 2 other entire games that have come out since then, such as DLC's even free that has come out since the game was released. One is Plague Knight and the other is Spectre Knight, 2 enemies from the main enemy group in the game. It's just done so well. There's so much replay value in the game. There's so much charm to it. You go across this map and each level ends with a boss fight. It's done so well. I mean, if you're a fan of old school Mega Man, or if you're a fan of just retro games in general, this is just a must-have. And like I said, I just prefer the Wii U version. It just feels like a Nintendo game, and there's no frame rate issues. The battles are great. The characters are lovable. There's just a fancy charm to it that you just can't hate. Yeah, basically just get Shovel Knight. You have to. Now here's one of the biggest games released for the Wii U. And by big, I mean the size of the game itself. It's called Xenoblade Chronicles X, a pseudo-successor to Xenoblade, which came out on the Wii, which is an open-world RPG game. Now, when I say open world, it really emphasizes open world, meaning you have to explore every bit of this planet we're on. Now the story, first of all, this game screams anime, first of all. So, there's that. But Earth has been basically caught up in a battle between alien forces, and Earth just goes, screw it, we're out, our planet's going to get destroyed, and they send out ships. Now, how many anime this actually rips off is basically every sci-fi anime to date. But I digress. Basically, the gameplay is good. You do have you do create your own character, and of course he has amnesia. It's almost standard in any game these days where the character doesn't know who they are or where they come from. Anyways, the battle system is very real-time. It reminds me a lot of how Secret of Mana is, where when you attack there's a cooldown period, whether it's attack or special attack, or etc. And when you get to a full charge, then you can use it, well, it gets a stronger attack, deals more damage, etc. You can target specific areas on enemy bodies, which is really cool. The Wii U gamepad functions as sort of this information data bank where everything's right there in front of you, which is really cool. It's utilized in a way where I hope games would do more of that. Now, graphically, I was kind of hoping a little bit more with the character models. It kind of reminds me of that GameCube Dreamcast kind of day with Skies of Arcadia, but I mean, it's okay. It's not a game breaker. What is so great is the world that these characters end up in. You're on this just crazy planet with hostile alien creatures, and you're supposed to coexist with them, but naturally it's easier said than done. What you do eventually get is you can travel with these giant mechanized robots called Skells in America and Dolls pretty much everywhere else. And the Dolls, I believe, is kind of a Gundam reference to non-piloted mechs. So again, that's more of Xenoblade Chronicles X here, taking so many things away from other games. The game's vast, beyond reason. Unless you got a ton of free time to really delve into the game, as good as it is, I would steer clear of it. But it is super solid. It's a Wii U exclusive. I love it personally. It's a great RPG to have. Now, I must have a soft spot for Koei Tecmo, and that's the Project Zero franchise, or Fatal Frame as it's known in North America. Now, this is made in Blackwater, which came out specifically on the Wii U, and it's a scary franchise to say the least. Now, it's definitely diluted in the years since, say, Fatal Frame 2, but the game still has its dark and creepy atmosphere, and the way the game uses the Wii U gamepad as a camera to fight the spirits is downright deafening and frightening. Now, the game does get a lot of flack for its portrayal of female characters, being that they're always kind of scantily clad and wearing short skirts, but anyways, that's not the point. The game is creepy, and I have a hard time playing the Fatal Frame franchise, or horror games in itself alone, and this is still one of them. Now, whether or not this is a type of game for you, we don't get very many horror games that still envelop what is downright creepy and uncomfortable. This takes place on a fictional mountain in Japan, that I'm assuming, and you get to experience this place where it's famous for its suicides and spiritual happenings, all creepy things, and you go through 3 different protagonists, Yuri, Ren, and Miyu, the daughter of a recurring Fatal Frame protagonist, Miku. So that's really cool. So it kind of plays an homage to past games. There's just a ton of different ghosts, different enemies. After a while, the fear of the game does get a little bit diluted because the pacing issues are definitely there, which I personally am not a fan of, but because it's still Fatal Frame and you gotta take that gamepad up to get the picture to fight, you know, it's the camera obscura if you're anywhere familiar with the franchise. And the game just, the enemies in the game bring back something. If you're into a kind of horror that's not like gory or, you know, a Freddy Krueger or even a Resident Evil kind of horror, this just makes you feel uncomfortable from start to finish, as we see here with just hair engrossing a character. It's a Fatal Frame game. I'm really happy with it. They could have toned down a lot of the fanfare, but the supernatural elements are always there. It's made in Blackwater. Now, we didn't get a physical copy in America, so I am still sour about that. This is a game I have anticipated for well over a year. It's Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, and basically it's Shin Megami Tensei cross Fire Emblem, 2 great series. Now, right off the bat, when I started playing this game, I didn't feel like it was a Shin Megami Tensei game. I felt it was a Persona game, which I am much more into. Needless to say, Atlus has knocked this game out of the park. I'm a big anime fan, and this game just screams anime. Right off the bat, you get this interesting plot developed, and then it jumps into setting the stage of world you're in, and visually the game's fantastic. I can't speak more highly about it. It takes place in quote unquote modern day Tokyo, featuring real locations such as Shibuya, and it centers around these evil beings known as mirages, who seek to harvest energy known as performa, because you're all like idols or trying to be idols. At least the main characters are. So it's kind of odd. I haven't really gotten too far into the game enough where things are starting to come together, but all I know is that the basic personas that you would get are the Fire Emblem characters from the past, and they got kind of a character redesign. I'm loving it. So a few things about this game. Due to its Japanese setting and aesthetic to it, and it's a big aesthetic to say the least. Us in North America, the release retained all the Japanese voice acting with subtitles, so there's no English dub in it. But if you're an anime fan, you don't really care because you watch you watch anime with subs to begin with usually, and luckily with the story and the refined battle system, the reviews of this have been very good. And needless to say, the Wii U needed a game like this, and I'm loving it. There's actually so the main core of the game is the battle system. And the Wii U gamepad displays basically a cell phone, kind of where you have an app and messages. That's really cool. But the battle system, there's a unity system mixed in where you use your performa in battle to defeat the monsters, and you can create new weapons for characters. You can only have 3 people in your party, so that's very interesting because usually it's 4 or 5 when you play RPGs. In this case, when you have the Fire Emblem characters joining as your AKA personas, they all have their different type of physical attacks, such as swords and arrows and elemental attacks. So just like Fire Emblem, the level up system in that is quite intricate. And then you got the Shin Megami Tensei battle system mixed in with that, so it's still like you're playing a Persona game, but with the Fire Emblem attacks. So take that the way you want. And the idol music, when that kicked, I was like, oh man, I already think I'm gonna like this game a lot, and needless to say, I do love this game. So here's a game that came out that many people have a problem with. It's Mighty Number 9, and I got the Wii U version because I felt like I wanted more games for the Wii U. And I don't know, it just feels like a Nintendo game to me. It's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Mega Man, and in a way it really is. I mean, it's made by the same guy. One horrible thing I found about this game is the loading, especially at the beginning, is horrendous. It takes so long, too long for a modern game if you ask me. But the environment is really crisp. I'm a sucker for anything cel-shaded, especially when it comes to video games. I actually like the attack system. I like the mechanics, how smooth they are. Apparently the Wii U version is known for crashing, but I save all my Wii U games on an external hard drive to begin with, and I haven't actually had that issue. I like the jumping, I like the Mega Man feel to it, I like the character, I like the boss battles that I've experienced so far. I'm having fun with it. No, it's not a hardcore AAA title, but it's only a $25 to $35 game depending on where you got it and how much it's worth. Here in Canada, it's more expensive. But man, I mean, I like it. It's simple enough where it reminds me of Mega Man Past. It's got new mechanics that I've wanted in a game for a while. I don't know where all the hate's coming from. It must be all that anticipation, everyone thinking it's a AAA title. Besides the loading times for me and the endless amounts of dialogue at the beginning, I'm enjoying the game. It's simple, it's fun. Yeah, I mean it's Mighty Number 9. Hey.